Chicago Tonight, Latino Voices is made possible in part by Allstate and the Searle Funds at the Chicago Community Trust.
Good evening and welcome to Chicago Tonight, Latino Voices. I'm Marissa Parra, reporter with CBS 2 Chicago. Thanks for sharing part of your weekend with us. On the show tonight, a leaked memo indicating the Supreme Court is planning to overturn Roe v. Wade throws abortion rights into question across the country. Plus, 2 city colleges of Chicago valedictorians talk about earning their degrees during a pandemic. And local astronomer Joe Guzman gives us a preview of next weekend's lunar eclipse.
And it just dawned on me, like, it's filled with so much love from me to whomever is going to receive this.
And meet the local women who fills purses with essential and words of encouragement for women in need. First off tonight, the leaking of a Supreme Court memo indicating the overturning of Roe v. Wade has thrust the question of abortion rights back into the spotlight. Here in Illinois, Governor J.B. Pritzker says no matter how the Supreme Court eventually rules, abortion is still safe and legal in this state. But that is not the case everywhere in the Midwest. Now, legislators and activists nationwide are contemplating what reproductive rights might look like from state to state in the absence of Roe. Joining us now with more, Illinois State Senator Cristiana Pasiones Zayas, a Democrat representing Chicago, and Elisa Martinez, national spokesperson for the Republican National Hispanic Assembly. Both of you, thank you for being here. Senator, to you first, what was your initial reaction to the news of the leaked memo to begin with?
Thank you for having me. I'd have to say, kind of the dual reality of being stunned but not surprised. I think we had seen indications that, the Supreme Court was going in this direction, especially with having so many states removing reproductive rights for women or individuals who are assigned female at birth.
Okay, Senator, stunned, not surprised, perhaps, given what you've described when it comes to your views, would you say you were disappointed?
Absolutely. Reproductive rights for me are fundamental, basic human rights. I think when it really comes down to it, if we start to strip away those rights, what else will come? And it's not going to prevent abortions. It's just going to make abortions unsafe in the states that have those trigger laws that automatically align with what the SCOTUS decision may be, should it be the final decision. But we can see so many different ways that reproductive rights have been undermined with many of the states taking approaches to limit access.
Okay, so Elisa, as a spokesperson for the Republican National Hispanic Assembly, was this welcome news for your organization, and were you surprised?
Well, I think in terms of what the majority draft opinion indicates that Roe should be overturned because of a lack of constitutional support and text within the Constitution, yes. And I think that most Americans do not support the extreme position that Roe represents, which is abortion on demand throughout all 9 months of pregnancy. It does not allow for protections of human life except at the state level. So I think in terms of the extremity, which only the extremeness of that, which only a handful of countries with prolific human rights abuses have abortion throughout all 9 months of pregnancy, which is what Roe established.
But for you, would you say this was welcome news to hear that this was majority opinion for SCOTUS?
Well, I think that anyone that has concerns about the issue of abortion up to birth and the protections of human life at some point is welcoming the news. But I don't think anyone can agree that if any violations of law took place in the leak, and if it's putting in danger the life and safety of any of the justices in order to sway the outcome of what that draft decision represents.
Okay, so concern over the leak itself and how that transpired. Senator, to you now, how do you see a potential overturn affecting your constituency, especially when it comes to Latinos?
I think when it really comes down to it, it's going to put many women's lives in danger who are seeking safe access to an abortion. As I mentioned before, abortions will still happen. They just will not happen in the most safe way. It also could lead to death. This is, precisely why when we're talking about the constituents that I represent, Latina elected officials came together and put together a press conference in Spanish immediately following the governor's press conference, because we felt it was very important that we share the information with our community. Illinois is still in a safe place. But we wanted to make sure that folks understood the implications of the potential final decision and that we still had protections, but that we also need to prepare for the influx of individuals who will be seeking reproductive health services here in Illinois.
Okay, Lisa, to you now. We've talked before about how Latinos are not a monolith, no matter the age group, right? But there are studies and polls that show a number of young Latinos supporting abortion rights is growing. What do you make of that?
Well, I think by and large, the Latino culture, even though it's not a monolith, has traditionally been conservative and pro-life, pro-family, pro-faith. And that's going to continue on, I think, and we're going to see that outcome very clear in the midterm elections, as well as with the trends of Hispanics toward Republicans, towards the pro-life position. I don't think that's going to change. Of course, the younger generation has a voice. But we need to make sure that the laws represent the voice of the people and the will of the public. And Roe v. Wade's extremism of abortion up to birth on demand for all 9 months does not represent that anywhere.
Senator, one of your colleagues, State Representative Delia Ramirez, had this to say about preserving abortion rights in Illinois in order to provide access to those in neighboring states. Take a listen.
We have to send a message to Spanish-speaking Latinos in the state of Illinois and across the country that we will fight like hell to protect them, to support them, and make sure they have the resources they need in a culturally competent way. Making sure that people know that if for some reason what we are sadly awaiting as a final decision is that abortions become illegal literally just across a couple of miles from us, that Illinois will be ready to receive them with Spanish-speaking services if needed, regardless of legal status.
So, Senator, what's next for Illinois legislators who want to preserve abortion rights in Illinois?
I think a couple of things that we need to consider. We need to make sure that organizations that provide reproductive health services are supported financially and also with a strong infrastructure, because as we expect more individuals to come in to seek reproductive services and safe abortions, we need to make sure that they have the resources to be able to meet that particular demand. There is a estimated 50% increase should this be overturned and Roe versus Wade, and we have folks seeking those services. I think we also need to, enact kind of what we've always done back home in Latin America and the Caribbean, mutual aid. We need to think about how do we put money towards abortion funds, as well as transportation to make sure that folks can get there, and also hospitality to make sure people have places to stay. We as a state did some major legislative work.
I just want to jump in real quick. We just have 30 seconds. I want to give Elisa a quick chance to finish here. What would your organization like to see Republican legislators do next in Illinois?
Well, I think that we need to address the concerns that the majority of individuals and citizens, especially the Latino community, has in terms of this issue. It seems to be conflated with a lot of talking points, but at the end of the day, most people want to see some common sense protections for the life of the unborn child, as well as women who are harmed by dangerous abortions that are unsafe and unregulated.
Elisa, Senator Cristina Pasiones Zayas, Elisa Martinez, thank you so much for joining us.
Gracias, thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, we introduce you to two recent City College valedictorians. Stay with us. More than 3,500 students recently graduated from the city colleges of Chicago. Of those, 1,700 students walked across the Wintrust Arena stage to be congratulated in person for earning their associate's degree at one of these 7 schools in the City College network. It was the first in-person ceremony for the colleges since the pandemic began. 2 of those graduates join us now to talk about their experience in Illinois' largest community college network. They are Ruth Flores, valedictorian of Richard J. Daley College in West Lawn neighborhood, and Kristen Medrano, valedictorian at Olive Harvey College in the Pullman neighborhood. Thank you both for being here. Kristen, to you first. In your valedictorian speech, you said that you were terrified of going back to school. Can you explain a little bit?
Yes, I was terrified because I haven't been to school in over 10 years. I'm a 35-year-old mother of 5, and it was terrifying to think about starting over and starting that journey again. I couldn't imagine having to go against 18, 19, 20-year-olds, children. I have a child who's almost that age. So it was frightening, but here I am.
And I think that that's such an important reminder that, it's never too late to go back to school. Did you feel like people welcomed you, and did you slowly start to let go of that fear?
I absolutely felt welcome. City Colleges, Olive Harvey more specifically, was extremely welcoming. They brought me into student life there, and I was part of Phi Theta Kappa, which is the Honor Society. And I was active in all of my classes. My professors were wonderful. They really helped me to become a part of the school community. I never felt like my age was a factor in anything that I did there. And I definitely let go of that fear.
Well, it's so inspiring. Ruth, your story is a little different. You're a 2019 CPS high school graduate, so traditional college aid, but what made you decide on Daley College specifically?
Hi, thank you for having us. Yeah, so the reason why I chose to go to Daley is because it was close to home and I didn't want to go that far. And also I looked at the courses and I saw that they had what I was going for. It was also Latino based, so I felt like I wasn't gonna be out of my comfort zone. So I just felt like I was still within my community and I felt like I would belong there.
And Ruth, I want to hear about, you are a recipient of a STAR scholarship and now the STAR Plus scholarship that covers your tuition at UIC. How important were those scholarships in making college a possibility and feasible? Yeah, so thanks to those 2 scholarships, being a scholar from both, I was able to get to where I am now. And because of them, I am free of debt, and now I'm able to go to school, continue my education. And I'm really honored and honestly blessed to be able to be a part of those 2 scholarships, because I didn't know if I was gonna have the chance to be able to go to college, but being a part of being a STAR scholar and receiving that STAR Scholar Plus scholarship as well has got me to where I am now. And I'm sure it's so gratifying for everyone that donates to those scholarship funds to see the people that really benefits. Kristen, I'm curious, do you think Latinos are given sufficient information about their financial options for higher ed?
I absolutely do not think that we're provided with enough education and information about financial resources. I struggled early on when I first went to school, out of high school. My family is not a group of people who were privy to college and secondary education. So I was blindsided with all of these, finances thrown in front of me. And thankfully, now that I'm an older learner, I was able to do my own research and find my own avenues for financial assistance. But I think that within our Latino community, it's not talked about, it's not spoken about enough. We don't have enough people informing our children of financial resources that are out there. And there are plenty, but we have debt instead. We get loans because we don't know better. And so it's definitely something that needs to come out more.
Okay, so more work to be done when it comes to getting the messaging out there. Ruth, you are a DACA recipient. Did you feel City Colleges was welcoming to fellow DACA recipients? And did you know any? Did you meet any?
100%, yes. I do feel that City Colleges is very opening and welcoming with DACA recipients. I think one of those being is that STAR scholars or people are able to apply into the STAR scholarship program and be able to get that funding. And I also think that City Colleges gives us that chance to be able to continue our education because there's a lot of resources given to Latino students. And I feel like they really welcome us as a person, but more care of us for our education so that we can be the future of in a couple of years because they want us to exceed and be professionals.
Okay, now I want to ask you both a question. We're going to go to Kristen first. When it comes to advice for other Latinas, maybe Latinos as well, as a whole, that are considering City Colleges, what is your advice, Kristen?
I would say to do it. Sign up, go forward. They are welcoming to people of all ages, whatever your educational interests are. They have degrees, but also certificates. City Colleges has so many avenues for a future, for a successful future, to set you up to be ready to go back out into the workforce or to continue your educational journey. So my advice would be, if you're thinking about it, then definitely take that step and move forward with it because you won't be disappointed that you did.
And you are a prime example of, having that hesitation and then going forward with it, and look where you are now. Ruth, what is your advice to anyone who's considering it?
Yeah, so along with Kristen, I agree. Definitely do it because it is possible. And City Colleges, it's not just one school, but 7 different campuses that all offer different majors, career fields, certificates. Even if you're not looking for something major, you could do a basic program or something like that, and it'll get you somewhere. And even if you get after that basic certificate, you could go along and study more and really exceed and learn about yourself.
Well, I don't want to cut you off, but I just want to say our thanks to Ruth Flores and Kristen Medrano. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, meet a woman on a mission to get toiletries to those most in need. The COVID-19 pandemic has made housing insecurity worse, as well as substance abuse, human trafficking, and domestic violence, often leaving women struggling with those issues with virtually no resources to move forward. But the pandemic also sparked an idea for a local woman named Maria Castro. She found a way to get everyday necessities, plus a touch of inspiration to women in need. And now she's helping put love on the shoulders of women all over the world. Producer Erica Gunderson has that story.
I think all of us know that the minute before we walk out the door, we grab our purse, right?
For many women, a purse is more than where they carry their wallet and keys. It's a life kit.
And in that purse, it could be anything from your kids' photos, maybe a trinket that they gave you, a rosary. And so when you have to leave sometimes in the middle of the night because of danger and you just run out, you have nothing, how do you pick up the pieces? How do you get back that purse that meant so much to you?
A little more than a year ago, a chat with a friend sent Maria Castro on an errand that turned into a movement.
A very dear friend of mine, she is the founder of a safe haven in Chicago.
A safe haven is a very holistic, comprehensive model to help address the root causes of poverty and homelessness.
And so during pandemic, she and I were having a conversation about how were things going and what's going on. And she told me that they were having trouble getting toiletries that the women could individually have because they could no longer share. So she was kind of in a quandary and said, let's figure this out.
Castro's solution was simple. To get the items to a safe haven quickly, she just went out and bought the toiletries herself. Sitting in her living room, surrounded by shopping bags full of shampoo and toothpaste, she says inspiration struck.
I thought, I can't give a woman a plastic bag filled with these toiletries. Like, how insensitive would that be? So I decided to go onto Amazon, and so I ordered purses. I wrote a note of inspiration, put one in each of the purses, and then it just dawned on me, like, it's filled with so much love from me to whomever is going to receive this. It's a love purse.
I immediately embraced it and loved it. To the women that are here at a safe haven, that are here for so many different reasons. Again, some because of job loss, some due to domestic violence, some coming out of prison. Even some women that are military veterans, are here, and the smiles on their faces, when they got a purse filled with all these amazing essentials, I think is truly lives up to its name. I mean, it's love, right?
That's when Castro realized donating purses filled with not just necessities, but also a bit of encouragement, is a mission that anyone wanting to help women in need could carry out.
I put it out on social media, and that was it. Like, the floodgates open. I was getting calls from people saying, oh my God, this is great. It really became something that anybody could do so easily, and it wasn't that costly.
Soon, the idea took off across the country and even the globe. Volunteers Castro calls Love Purses angel ambassadors hold purse stuffing parties and deliver them to social service agencies in their areas.
I had people from Canada, Ontario, that said, can we do this here? Can we duplicate it? Of course. Mexico, Puerto Rico, and we sent some to the Ukraine recently.
Locally, Love Purse partners with agencies like Metropolitan Family Services and Magdalene House Chicago, a residential recovery program for survivors of human trafficking. Executive Director Ida Butler says for women rebuilding their lives after trauma, the purses carry special meaning.
We provide the home for them. We provide the services they need to function. And this may be something that they have not had for years, perhaps, or if ever. Something that's personal, something that's theirs, something that's unique and special to them.
1 year and 6,000 donated purses later, Castro says the flood of help and encouragement Love Purse continues to receive fills her with the desire to keep this mission going.
I want to be able to help as many women as we can. Obviously, the need is there, but at the same time, there's never a lack of donations or people that want to help. It just proves to me that there's so much kindness and so much good out there.
For Chicago Tonight, Latino Voices, this is Erica Gunderson.
You can find more information on Love Purse by going to our website. A celestial show is coming to Chicago next weekend. On the evening of Sunday, May 15th, a lunar eclipse will grace the night skies. Chicago astronomer Joe Guzman says it's a great reason to spend an evening moon gazing.
Hi fellow sky lovers, I'm Joe Guzman, the Chicago astronomer, and in this segment we're going to discuss the upcoming exciting total lunar eclipse, and this promises to be a really good one. On Sunday evening, May 15th at 8:32 p.m., we will witness the start of this event, if weather permits. The lightest part of Earth's shadow, the penumbra, Latin for lighter part of the shadow, will slowly cover the lower left-hand portion of the moon, slightly darken it from the rest. Now, most won't notice the slight shading, but veteran lunar eclipse chasers will. Look for a slight darkening right at this lower left-hand part of the moon. This is where all the action begins. At 9:27 p.m., the darker part of our shadow, the umbra, starts to take a solid bite out of the moon. And here you can really see the curvature of the Earth against the surface of the moon. Now at 11:11, this is as dark as the lunar disk will get. We are now in total lunar immersion. And due to the forest fires out west, we may observe a deepest crimson blood red moon that we've ever seen. Then, at 11:53 p.m., the moon slowly starts to exit from our shadow, repeating what we observed at the very start, but in reverse. And at 1:53 a.m. Monday morning, just in time for work, it's over. The next one will be on November 7th of this year, but that one starts at 2 a.m. Catch this one if you can. Here in the Midwest, we get a front row seat to this event, and this is how to enjoy it under urban skies. First of all, total lunar eclipse are perfectly safe to observe, no protection needed. All you need are your eyes, a comfortable chair, and a blanket to enjoy. But to enhance this experience, grab a pair of binoculars and follow along in this 5-hour celestial event. Those who have telescopes, set them up and share this experience with your family as we observe one celestial object get in the way of another. And always remember, that the skies are free and so are the views. I'm Joe Guzman, the Chicago astronomer.
Guzman and his organization, Chicago Astronomer, host free sky-gazing events all over the city to connect people to the cosmos. You can follow him on Facebook and Twitter for the latest events, and of course, you can find more on our website. And that's our show for this weekend. Be sure to check out our website for all of the stories you heard today, WTTW.com/news, for all the latest from WTTW News. And if you're watching us on Saturday night, know that you can also catch Latino Voices and Black Voices on Sundays beginning at 10 p.m. And you can catch my reporting on CBS 2 Chicago. Next week on Latino Voices, Alex Hernandez from Univision will be right here in the host chair. Now, from all of us here at Chicago Tonight Latino Voices, I'm Marissa Parra. Thank you for sharing part of your weekend with us. Stay healthy, stay safe, y buenas noches.
Closed captioning is made possible by Robert A. Clifford and Clifford Law Offices, a personal injury law firm pleased to give back to the community through numerous charitable initiatives.